Right, we're gonna finish this October 30th, night before Halloween here. We're talking about a little NBA. We got that new in-season tournament. I guess where all 30 teams compete in the tournament. That starts on Friday, November 3rd, and they'll have groups broken down, A, B, and C in each conference. And I guess, it'll just be an elimination type thing. And that should be very interesting. The NBA season just started. We're only a few games in here. But already, Dallas Mavericks are out to a 3-0 start. Luka's looking really good.
There you
Got
go.
another triple-double tonight. Steph Curry had a big night tonight, dropped 42 against the New Orleans Pelicans, who won their first 2 games this year. I don't believe McCollum played, but Zion played.
Call him
And-
play tonight.
Did he play tonight?
I think he did, yeah.
I think it was Ingram who was out, huh?
Maybe it was Ingram, yeah.
One of the Pelicans were out, I believe, but nonetheless, Draymond's back, and the Warriors won tonight. So, man, Atlanta ended up beating Milwaukee the other night. I saw that, but they won quite a bit. But anyways, the season is just getting started. Our Lakers are sitting at 2-2. We won a close game at home against Orlando. They gave us our best, though. It was a good game. I think we held them about 103 points. That's what they need to do. But I don't know. I know I'm kind of all over the place here, Steven. But what do you think about that new in-season tournament? I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm going to find out this Friday. But it's supposed to run through the month of November. I guess November 3rd through the 28th. And then they'll have the semifinals, quarterfinals, semifinals, and the championship game on December 9th.
I think it's just interesting. I think it's just a way for the NBA to, to market their league more and make more money. And to be honest, I think it's kind of a way to make some players play harder. You know what I mean? Because a lot of load management. But I don't think they really need to do that. I think even to be considered an MVP conversation, they get to play like 65 games or something. You just can't half with it or whatever. I think with a lot of the awards you have to pay a certain amount of games. So I do like that. But as the season's starting, I think a lot of teams are just you're kind of expecting what a lot of teams are doing. Boston's coming out 3-0. Luka's coming out. I really think this is Luka's breakout year for just his maturity, for his body developing. I think a lot of people just expected him after his 3rd year to understand how everything works in his body. But you're looking at this kid came when he was 19. I think he's like 24 now and stuff. He's just really hitting into his prime of where his body and everything should be. And I think he's going to dominate the league and within the next couple of years fully. The Pelicans, I think with Zion being healthy, I think everyone knew that. Well, at least I did. With Zion being healthy and continue to be healthy, I think that the Pelicans can be competitive, especially in the Western Conference. Denver still is, rolling along as they did last year.
I was going to say that. Let's not forget about the champs now.
Boston is looking great. And for the Lakers, as far as the team goes, I'm looking at it. I'm like, we're 2-2. I still think we're trying to figure out people. I think we're just trying to figure out rotations.
For sure. A lot of new rosters.
It's interesting that Rudy's not starting, but I thought he would. But he's not. I'm expecting more production out of him and everybody. But I guess for me with the Lakers, it's always been AD. This should be AD's team. This is his prime. This is where he needs to be. It's not LeBron's team or anything else. It should be AD. And first game he came out just looking great in the first half. Second half he hasn't done very much. This game at least he looked pretty good. But I look for him to be the leader of the team and to get everyone involved. And he just doesn't seem to be doing that for me. At least for the Lakers and stuff. So. I expect more out of him, just where he's at and where people look at him. So we'll see how that goes. But right now he's not really impressing me. He's not giving that excitement. We're 2-2. I definitely think we should have been more competitive against Sacramento. Denver was interesting, but I definitely think we should have been more competitive against Sacramento. And I think I did talk about Orlando maybe being like the surprise team of them doing good, but we should have dominated them better tonight. I don't really think they should have been that competitive with us, especially being at home. But yeah, that's my thoughts so far about,
Right. Yeah, as I mentioned, I don't know a lot about this tournament, but I think it fills a lot of holes. It's like another way for the NBA to have their version of the March Madness. Let's not forget the gambling aspect. As Steven mentioned, with players taking a lot of, load management and rest time. It's something to start the season and give them incentive to compete right away. So it does a lot of things, not to mention football. It'll be towards the end of the regular season for football, so they don't have to look at the competition there. So I think this does a lot of things for the NBA. I'm interested to see how it goes. Boston, of course, looks like a heavy favorite in the East. They're a real good team, and they, with the addition of Porzingis and Drew Holiday, and just another year of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, the best number 1-2 punch in the league if you look at the numbers wise, as far as wins and statistics. With these guys out on the team, I think they get over the hump this year. And I'm also looking for Milwaukee in the East to make a lot of noise. I know Dame is super motivated. We saw him drop 39 in his debut with Milwaukee. I know Giannis is still a great leader and is very motivated. And on the West, don't count out the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry had a big night tonight. They have a young nucleus around them. The Warriors always draft and develop exceptionally well. Draymond's back. He's probably going to take a few games to work into shape here. And then you can't count out the champs, the Denver Nuggets. They're not exciting, not a lot of flash there, but definitely a lot of substance. What makes Denver so dangerous is not only do they have probably one of the best players in the league in Nikola Jokic, it's their 2, 3, and 4 players, Steven. Jamal Murray, we've seen him get hot with the mid-range and be a very good decision maker and sound ball handler. Then when you have somebody like Aaron Gordon as your 3 and Michael Porter Jr. as your 4, I think both of these boys are like 6'9", 6'10". They're big, they're young, they're strong. Porter is still ascending, and I think Gordon is in his prime right now. Good on both sides of the ball. So they're just a complete team. I don't have to convince you, as they won the NBA championship last year. But the Lakers, I think we definitely have the roster to compete with them. As Steven said, AD, that's the really, that's the $1 million question. What kind of AD are we going to get? Because we've seen the AD like a dominant AD tonight. He had 26 points and 19 rebounds and a few blocks against Orlando. They won. LeBron, he's still putting up good numbers in his 21st year. And the key for the Lakers is we need that third scorer. Who's it going to be, that consistent third scorer? I tend to think it's probably going to be Rui as the year goes on. But it wouldn't hurt if it would be D'Angelo Russell, Because, there's going to be so much attention on LeBron and AD that whoever is that third guy is going to get a lot of good open looks. It's just about timing and when to go ahead and attack. And then to manage the game, Don't start, the last few years the Lakers have been known to, blow big leads and, just kind of self-destruct with turnovers and just bad decision making. So we'll see what they can do as far as sustaining the lead and running the team. But I'm looking for D'Angelo Russell to step up there and really be that third option for us if we're going to have success there. But I like what you said about Luka. He is getting better and better. I think he is in his prime. I was impressed tonight that he won. Kyrie did not play. I think he had ankle or calf soreness or something, but he sat out, and Luka had no problem, put the team on his back, and had a 35-point triple-double. We were sitting at 3-0. So, and Dallas got a few pieces. They got one of the Williams boys from Boston last year. Mm-hmm. So, they got a few pieces to help them out, so they're a little bit deeper as well. So maybe Dallas can make some noise. We'll see. I'm kind of interested to see how this in-play tournament's going to go.
I am too.
Yeah.
Not really, but I'm good.
I don't know what it's about. I'm interested to see how it goes.
It's just, just to promote the NBA, like how, the commissioner said, and, just to bring more money to the league. The NBA is hurting them.
I think it's, the betting, the March Madness, the games, it'll be crazy over there at the Sportsbook.
Oh, I think so. I think it's just, bettors make more money, so does the NBA. They're making more money as well, so. But I know this just happened a couple of hours ago. We were talking about it when we're done.
Yes.
James Harden getting traded to the Clippers.
James Harden got his way, folks. He's out of Philadelphia.
Yeah, way to go, Clippers. Like you're the oldest team in the league with your nonsense.
Isn't it the most Clippers thing to do? PJ Tucker went with him. So, I just want to mention this real quick. I'm sorry to cut you off. But they got the Clippers might be the oldest team now, right? We got PJ Tucker, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard when he plays, and Paul George when he's healthy. I think they traded one of the Morris brothers back to Philadelphia, and Nick Batum went as well. But man, the Clippers are really old. I don't know. If I'm a Clipper fan, I can't be excited about this. Just, I don't care what you tell me about James Harden. Just everywhere he's left, it's been bad. You know, he couldn't wait to get out of Brooklyn and go to Philadelphia, said that was the perfect fit for him. He didn't stay there very long. Now he's with the Clippers. I don't know. I'm not mad at it because obviously me and Steven are big Laker fans. You know, we expect this kind of dysfunction out of the Clippers. But I just think it's kind of funny he got traded. But I'm not holding my breath. I don't. You know, I feel bad for Russ. I've always been a Russell Westbrook fan. But I don't think the Clippers are doing it. We'll see if he can make it through a whole season. As a matter of fact.
I look at it in a sense where, like, yeah, I think it's done by the Clippers, but I think this is his last year in his contract for James Harden. So if he does, I mean, it frees up a lot of cap room for them, getting rid of some, I think, Batum's contract, some of the Morris guys, and some of the picks, and maybe kind of opens up some opportunities. You know, I don't know if Kawhi and Paul George's contracts are up or when they're going to be up, but you know, it's something to look for in the future to where, like, let's see what we can do with this with these guys. It didn't work last year at all.
Right.
In a sense where, you know, they made it to the playoffs, but they didn't make any noise, I think. So, you know, maybe it's just that way they're looking to the future and seeing what they can do if they free up this cap space for Harden and everything. So it'd be interesting to see what the Clippers do. I don't think they're going to do anything this year, but we will see.
Right. Hey, before we finish, that's all we got for the NBA. But before we wrap it up tonight, I just wanted to give a mention to. There was a huge fight this past weekend. The heavyweight MMA champ, Francis Ngannou, challenged the heavyweight champ of boxing, Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King. And I'm sure, you know, there's no spoiler alert, unless you've been living under a rock, that Tyson Fury did receive a split decision victory. But many people thought that Ngannou won. Ngannou even dropped him. I believe it was the third round, Steven. Nice clean hook when Ngannou landed. And dropped him, and even after the fight, the next day, you could see where, you know, Fury had looked like he'd been in a tough fight, when Ngannou looked fine. You know, look in his face, he didn't look like he'd been in a fight at all. I just got to say that I'm very impressed. I didn't pay a lot of attention to this because I thought it was more hype than substance, but Ngannou impressed me to say the least. For him to do this well against the heavyweight champ, the fact that we're even talking about maybe he won that fight and dropped him in his first boxing match ever, just phenomenal. Impressive is not the right word, just phenomenal. And shout out to, you know, I know Mike Tyson helped him train for this, and some other people were helping Ngannou, but they sure did their job, because he did not embarrass himself. I would call this a victory for the MMA world.
I think I would too. You know, Francis went out there and gained. I hope he gained a lot of respect because he sure fought a great fight. You know, he did a great fight. I don't think there's anything else you can say about it. You know, he fought well. You know, this is a huge thing for MMA. But I think it's different for the heavyweights. You know what I mean? Because they're both big guys.
Is the power involved?
The power involved,
right.
and what you could do. I think it's so much harder for the lighter guys because I think when you're looking, especially from MMA, and I don't know a lot about MMA, but when you're looking at a lot of heavyweights, hardly ever do they take people to the ground. They're not ground fighters. They're not wrestlers. You know, I mean, you had backgrounds of wrestling. I think with, especially with DC and with Brock, they had a lot of huge
collegiate wrestling experience.
Exactly. But when you look at a lot of heavyweights, they're mostly just bigger guys who just, you know, like to throw punches. Not to say that they don't know any other martial arts or any, you know, jiu-jitsu or anything of that sort, but I'm just saying most of it comes from stand-up fighting. They're not going to the ground. You know, so I think that's why when it transfers over to boxing for heavyweights, I think it'd be a little bit different because they're used to just kind of that movement around the ring. They're not, like I said, takedown guys. When you look at like at Connor's size, where they're more trying to take you down. Of course, Connor's a striker, but you look at a lot of those other guys. They will throw with you, but they're trying to take you down. They're submissioners. They like jiu-jitsu. They like kind of roll on the ground a little bit more. So, you know, I'm not taking anything away from Francis. I think he shocked the world in a sense where he
definitely.
You know, he did this. Hopefully he can build upon it and maybe do something else with some other heavyweights or taking it into boxing. I know he did sign with, who did he sign with? Was it One Championship? Or
one of the other fighting groups. I don't know if it's Bellator or One Championship, but it wasn't Dana. They didn't want to pay him, but big mistake, right?
Maybe not. I mean, you know, these other fighting stuffs are gonna, you know.
I was really impressed with also the way Francis was able to take and absorb Tyson's offense. You know what I mean? That's a big man, 6'9", 275, 280. You know what I mean? A heavyweight champ. Impressive. Nagano, definitely a victory for the MMA world, and I think it just helps both sports. You know, it's a crossover, right? MMA fans, boxing fans. It just opens the door for more fights, and it was a good fight. And I'll just say it again, I was thoroughly impressed.
So
If anything, maybe a little disappointed on the performance of Tyson Fury, you know. But hey, it is what it is. I wouldn't mind seeing them fight again.
Yeah, you never know what
Might
might happen.
happen,
Might
right?
happen, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have. I know a lot of people maybe not be rugby fans, but shout out to South Africa and Springboks for winning the Rugby World Cup. Definitely not happy about the All Blacks lost in the championship game. This is the first year they lost in pool and in the championship game, so it was tough. It's tough to watch. Definitely an All Blacks guy, definitely an All Blacks fan, but shout out to South Africa and the Springboks.
Right on, Stephen. I don't know a lot about rugby, but it's definitely a man's sport. You know, respect to them, and yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Well, hey, thanks. If there's anything you guys want us to go over, please leave it in the comments. Let us know. We'd be happy to go over it. And as always,
Until next time.
go out. Right? Pretty good segments.